me ask you a question here, Ben. Does Drew Lock need to alter his style after basically dealing with 2 injuries in his first 2 years as a pro?
Alter his style of what?
Being a quarterback.
No.
About scrambling around, about taking hits.
No, you do what you do what brought you here. You know, I mean, you can refine some things at the pro level, but once you get to the NFL, you're more or less a finished product. You know, you refine a few things and hope that that's enough to be the edge in getting your team wins, getting your team to the playoffs, getting your team a Super Bowl. But no, you don't change your style of play. I don't think you can do that. I think muscle memory takes over anyway. I think you need to learn to maybe protect yourself a little bit better. But that's just refining a few things. A total rewire or revamp of what he does, absolutely not. He's good at what he does, and what those things are what got him here. He needs to learn to try to make those things even better.
Okay, so maybe what I should have been a little bit more specific. And yeah, I am talking about taking fewer hits, refining his style as a quarterback, and maybe looking for the bigger play, sometimes holding the ball, maybe a little longer, trying to scramble around. You know, I thought about RG3 today when I heard his comments, and we're going to play some more Drew Lock in just a second, but I thought about RG3, and now he had to develop a little bit different. In fact, actually, he really never kind of recovered. He had the great breakout season, and then he took too many hits, got knocked out of the game, and he kind of never was the same guy. And I was thinking about that because I'm like, well, we don't think about Drew Lock in the terms of the quote-unquote mobile quarterback, like a guy like Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray, you know, guys that are looking to make plays with their legs. But he has the ability to do that. But the same thing applies to him, doesn't it? I mean, you have to limit the amount of hits that you're taking.
Well, every quarterback gets hit on every play, just about. You want to limit the big hits, you know, not more than just the guy falling on you at the end. No, I don't think he needs to change the way that he does things. I think he just needs to these are the same conversations that they had, by the way, about Ben Roethlisberger early on in his career. Now, Ben's got a bigger body. If Drew wanted to put on a little weight, I wouldn't be mad at him. He's kind of got a little bit of a wiry frame for an NFL quarterback. But I don't think you change fundamentally what got you there. I think you just learn to refine it, and you learn to adapt it to the pro game, and you learn to do what it takes to stay safe. I wouldn't say that either one of his injuries necessarily were really the fault of taking a big hit. The most recent injury was, you know, a guy had him by the ankle. You know, he just fell funny. The wrist injury had nothing to do with any of that. So, I don't think so. I don't think I get where you're coming from, but I don't think so. I don't think you do that. I think you just stick with, you know, what got you there and try to refine it a little bit and do what you can here or there to make sure that you're not putting yourself at unnecessary risk. But a big part of Drew's game is his quick feet. You know, is his ability to buy time with his legs and make a play with his legs. That's a big part of his game.
In his press conference, he talked about how he wants to take fewer hits and he needs to change a few things. And he talked a little bit about how he actually went and watched other quarterbacks, vets in the league, and how they either extend plays or in some cases get rid of the ball to avoid the hit. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I can definitely give or take some of those, but that's kind of who I am. Like I said, it's how I play. But you know, you watch some of the greatest to ever do it. You know, they have those moments in their game too. It's just not what they automatically go to, which, you know, I feel like that was kind of my thing. I automatically went to it. I automatically wanted to get out and run rather than stepping up and working in the pocket and delivering a ball maybe for 4 or 6 yards instead of rolling out of the pocket and trying to throw a deep bomb and make something crazy happen. To where I feel like I can put that more into my game. I can work on stepping up. I can work on taking, you know, the shorter throw, but it's there. It's open. Take it. Why not take what they give you? And I feel like if I can just slowly but surely progress into that, I feel like I can be a really good quarterback in this league.
Can Pat Shurmur do anything to help him with that process?
He can have better protection. I mean, he can have another guy back to protect him a little bit better. And I would probably do that early on. We've been talking ad nauseum about max protect sets and like what Arthur Smith does for the Titans, where, you know, you only got 3 guys out in routes, everybody else is back there protecting, and it makes it impossible for the pass rush to get there in time. I would be a fan and in favor of the Broncos doing more of that. It's not particularly Pat Shurmur's forte. It's not what he's done traditionally. With that 11 personnel stuff. I mean, it's just not, but I would be in favor of them doing that, specifically early on to kind of get Drew back into the swing of things. Yeah, you can scheme up a few things here or there. As a coach, I basically put the Drew Brees tape on and be like, look, this is what you need to be emulating. This is the closest to what you want your game to be, and go from there. Because Drew, you know, in his mobility, Drew Brees' mobility was a big part of what he did early on. You know, and now the arm's fallen off. Drew didn't have as big an arm as Drew Lock does, but you know, Brees' mobility and buying time with his feet, the quick twitch ability. You don't want to put on like Kyler Murray tape or Russ Wilson tape, because those guys avoid hits by genetics. They're built compact. It's hard to hit them because they're small, and it's certainly hard to hit them in a meaningful way. So, you know, they just by virtue of the design of the way they do things, those aren't good guys to go out there and emulate or try to, you know, be like. I would suggest that, you know, Matt Stafford, Ben Roethlisberger, those are huge bodies.
Which is what I assume he went and looked at. And I'm only referencing those guys because they have learned, because they had to, how to avoid hits or not take the big hit that ends up knocking them out of the game, because they know they're putting themselves at more risk. They're utilizing their legs as part of the offense. It's built into the offense. Drew Lock is scrambling around as a means to an end. It's most of the time he's trying to keep his eyes downfield and make a big play. Those guys are looking for avenues and sometimes lanes to be able to take off and run.
And that's why I say look at Brees, because Brees went through the horrific injury. You know, look at Brees and what he did after that injury in order to avoid taking hits and that kind of thing. Start to emulate his game, because that's really the guy you want to be. You forget the passing and, you know, and the yardage and all that kind of stuff. Just look at how he plays the position. Look how he manipulates the pocket. Look how he uses nimble feet to buy time. Look how he gets rid of the ball when there's nothing there. Just throws it high and out of bounds and makes sure he doesn't take the hit and lives to fight another day. And I think if you can emulate that, you'll be on to a successful career.